Thompson Productions.
No way, Jose.
The following footage proves beyond any doubt that the tanks intentionally set the house on fire. It proves that the Branch Davidians were murdered. You can see that this tank has a gas jet on the front that shoots fire. You can also see the fire quite plainly. The tank goes into the house twice, and each time as it backs out, the fire at the gas jets is plainly visible.
We must all do more to recognize and look for the early warning signals that deeply troubled young people send.
Good morning. Welcome to the No Way Jose podcast. This is the Morning Dump. I am your host, Jose Galison. It's a beautiful May 16th, Friday morning. It's a pleasure to be with you, beautiful people, today. I see Eddie and Desk in the chat, and some of you, why am I struggling with words so hard right now? Some of you other people in there, other you fine people in there, John Doe 2, seeing John Doe 2 in there, or John Doe 2 as well. I'm not meaning 2 as in the John Doe 2, but I'm John Doe as well in the chat. I'm seeing a bunch of y'all rolling in. While we wait for more of y'all to start showing up, because this is a show that does a lot of audience involvement, or I try to where I can. But while we wait for more of y'all to roll in, we will take a moment to pay the bills. Do want to remind you guys that today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at NWJ. If you're tired of that razor burn, the irritation, those ingrown hairs that come from those multi-blade cartridges, then this is the way to go. Step up your shave game. Step up and step back. And by step back, I mean go back to the ways of old. This is actually surprisingly a product that kind of went out of style for some unknown reason. For some reason, this idea swept the nation that more blades equals more better. Much akin to Gatorade. It's what the waters crave, what the plants crave. But it was wrong. It's retarded. It's no, one blade is really all you need. You get a smoother shave with that single blade, and it's a lot better for your skin. You're dragging one blade across your face as opposed to multiple. Reduces the damage quite a bit. Your face will thank you. Your wallet will thank you as well. The first year is going to cost you $75. After that, you're just getting blades. And first year comes with the handle you see here and 100 of the blades. You get at the very least 2 shaves out of it. So it really depends on how frequently you shave. So at the very least, even if you're swapping out literally every time that side of the blade touches your face, you would get at least 200 days. So let's be real. Most of us are going to make it last a lot longer. So let's be realistic. It's probably going to last you multiple years. And then after that, you're just getting the razors. So it's easy peasy, cheap, better shave than the alternative, better for your skin, cheaper. And as if all of that wasn't enough, this is a COVID mandate refusing company. This is a company that doesn't hate your guts, considering you're watching this show. That's probably someone who aligns with your values. So, instead of giving your money away to some soulless company that's almost certainly somehow being siphoned off to BlackRock or something, give your money over to NWJ, someone who decided to leave the armed forces as opposed to get the pokey poke. So, they reward it where according. And as if that wasn't enough, you can also get 10% off if you use Jose at checkout. All right, guys, let's get into it. Let's get into, I'm surprised more of y'all didn't show up. Usually more of y'all have rolled in by now. But hey, maybe you guys are busy this Friday. Holler in the chat if you guys are here. We have some interesting stuff to go through today. We'll continue our coverage of that of the thread kind of tying together the serial killers of old, and then to just so happen to also have a thing for procuring children. And weird is almost if there's a connection there. We'll continue that thread we were covering yesterday. There's new information that came out from my friend Ken Silva, the intrepid reporter, on the second Ryan Routh, the second would-be Trump assassin. So we'll cover that. And then also the Comey news with the whole 86ing. And obviously we'll also be going into some foreign policy stuff as we do over here. So let's go ahead and lead the show off with some foreign policy stuff. So I know it's been kind of, we're still at a point where I know I said I took Wednesday off and I was like, oh no, everything's going to pop off when I take Wednesday off, and it didn't. And we still hasn't, and it still feels like it should at any point, but we're still in the calm before the storm, it seems like, or I think we might be literally entering the storm, as we'll get into in one of the future stories here in a minute. But right now, let's cover this. This is from Dave DeCamp over at antiwar.com. This is report, Witkoff told mediators that the U.S. won't force Israel to end Gaza slaughter. So let's go and read that to see the specifics on this, because I know we've been getting encouraging information floating out as of late. So let's see how far this goes. I've obviously been a little bit skeptical about how it would extend all the way up into including the Gaza slaughter. I think it might, the positive developments we're seeing might more likely are going to be seen in our Iran negotiations, in my opinion. But let's go ahead and read this, see what Witkoff has to say. It says, Witkoff told Arab mediators that the U.S. will not force Israel to end its genocidal war in the Gaza Strip, according to a report from the Times of Israel. Now, if you do want to hold out hope, I will say it says will not force. So I guess it depends on how you define force, but let's keep going. The report, which cited Arab officials, said Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was staunchly refusing to end military operations in Gaza, a position he has made clear in public comments as the Israeli military is preparing a major escalation. So, there's I've covered this already, the idea that he's made very, very clear comments, that he's very clearly still trying to do it. So, we in the coming days will be entering with all our strength to complete the process to subdue Hamas. Netanyahu said on Tuesday, it could be that Hamas will say pause. We want to release another 10 hostages. Okay, release them. We will receive them, and after that enter. But there will not be a situation where we stop the war. So, yeah, we covered that the other day. Times report also cited a source who was present at a meeting Witkoff held with the family members of Israeli captives held in Gaza last week. The source said that Witkoff largely agreed with the position of Arab mediators that Israel's plan to escalate will not be effective. Another meeting with hostage families this week, Witkoff was pressed on why the U.S. didn't force Israel to stop. He said, in quotes, "We're not the Israeli government. We don't disagree. The Israeli government is a sovereign government. They can't tell us what to do, and we can't tell them what to do," Witkoff said, according to a recording of the meeting obtained by Haaretz. I emphasize recording, just so you guys know, because obviously we have in the past few days been talking about this person said that thing, that person said this thing, reports say, sources say, and so yeah, there might be claims of Witkoff saying this, and they're all differing levels of certainty. There were, some statements from Witkoff, I remember, where some of the people, he apparently told them, you feel free to, spread the word on this. There also were ones where that wasn't addressed. There's, obviously there have been information that's been floated out in the past few days that was just sources within the Pentagon or whatever say. But this one is directly a recording. So now, I will say, we'll skim through this in a second. I think that's all so far as statements. I'd have to see the recording or maybe understand more context here. But I will say, while this article, goes on about how U.S. won't force Israel to end Gaza slaughter. Obviously that's how the question was asked. Obviously, the key term here, I think, is force. So the idea is, I think maybe Witkoff could be, if we're being hopeful here, is being selective in his words, and it's kind of like, that we wouldn't force them to do anything. So nothing was said here that precludes them from doing anything. But in the same breath, nothing was said here with all the, I guess, I don't know if I'd say tough talk, but more over the top talk that's been leaking out lately. I'm kind of surprised that we didn't get more forceful wording. This seems like a backing up of the narrative, but I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that this is just maybe them being careful in their wording and saying, oh, we wouldn't force them, force being the key word that he's like focusing on or something. Like, oh, we can't force them to do anything, but but you can cut off aid. So now, will we cut off aid? I'm still doubtful, but I don't know. I guess I'm also kind of holding out hope that this may not necessarily mean that there are no actions being prepared to be taken by us. Now, when they say force, that's what I'm saying. It's like it really gets into what do you mean by force? Does that mean? Because that could be interpreted as meaning us literally going in and somehow physically stopping Israel or something like that. Or maybe some differing levels. But something like not giving you money, I don't know. I don't think that's it's fair to not frame that as forcing them to stop. I mean, it's in effect kind of forcing them to stop, but all right. Israel's military operations are entirely reliant on U.S. military aid. Yeah, okay, yeah. Now it's just going to recap the situation that we already know. But that's the current situation. The most recent, most important, I think, statements that have been said, at least. So if we're trying to keep track of where the statements are at, if we're taking score here. So, all right, cool. See Alan up in the chat now. Screwed Up Nevsky, Tom33, Schizo Friend, good morning. I guess Nevsky's saying, supposedly Israeli media is pushing Yair Lapid for prime minister pretty hard lately. It would make sense. I think this is one of the things I said from the beginning when all this stuff years ago when it started, that I wouldn't be surprised if we see some sort of Netanyahu overthrow. Like as if like he's been overused. Like I'd be surprised when this is all done if he still sticks around. So I don't know. There might be something there. I don't know enough about this Yair Lapid guy if he's worth the shit. What's up, Robin? See you in the chat. All right, let's get into now this is a story I was alluding to earlier when I was saying maybe we might already be kind of in the midst of it starting. So here we are is another piece from Dave DeCamp over at antiwar.com. It says Israeli strikes kill more than 100 Palestinians in Gaza. Now, I will say every day there's usually a story like this, and I don't almost never cover it just because I don't know. There's usually probably 10 plus stories that that's selected that I go to antiwar.com pretty much every day for the show, and I usually pick out a few that I feel like are meaningful, or obviously I can't cover them all. I gotta be selective, but every single day there's this many in Gaza, this many in Gaza. Usually there's one for Gaza every day. Sometimes there's one for some other Israeli conflict that's going on, but this one has been is slightly more, and given the timing of it, because 100 in one day is quite a significant amount. It's not the most in this war yet at all, but it's a significant amount, and it does seem to perhaps signal maybe they are starting their offensive. So let's go ahead and read this and see what we can glean out of it. So it's oh shit, I guess it's closer to 143, so it's actually quite a fucking bunch. It says at least 143 Palestinians were killed by Israeli attacks in Gaza on Thursday. Al Jazeera reported as the Israeli military has intensified its strikes in the besieged territory amid President Trump's visit to the region. At least 16 more have been killed early Friday morning, Gaza time, as Israel continues to ramp up attacks, suggesting the Israeli military has started the next phase of its genocidal war. So yeah, there you go. Just the amount really compared to what the daily toll. I'd say the daily toll is probably usually in the 40 to 60 range if I had to guess. So getting up to double that, it shows a significant increase. Health officials told Al Jazeera that at least 61 were killed in a barrage of attacks on the southern city of Khan Yunis. Heavy Israeli strikes were also reported in Jabalia, northern Gaza, for the second day. According to the Palestinian news agency, at least 15 Palestinians, including 11 children and 1 woman, were killed by the strikes in Jabalia. And they showed some photos. Okay, so just the significant amount. It looks like perhaps there's more, that they are upping the attacks. So they also reported that those killing Khan Yunis was a journalist named Ahmad al-Ahlou, Based on a previous report from Wafa, al-Halou's killing brings the total number of journalists killed by the IDF in Gaza to 213, which I don't think this is a journalist, but I believe it was yesterday or the day before there was a journalist that I didn't bring up getting killed. But I believe in that situation, the IDF directly admitted that that was a targeted killing. And the reasoning being is because he, I believe, was documenting the October 7th attack. So, which I guess, to be fair, I don't know. I guess that could imply some sort of foreknowledge. And I don't think, I don't know. I know it's like, oh, it's journalism. And I'm trying to, I think there's definitely something on. If you're aware of like a major terrorist attack, you don't get to just embed yourself and follow it. And you have some responsibility of telling people, in my opinion. So, but anyways, I mean, I'm not sure to what extent if he was just a journalist or if he actually was like Hamas, but I don't know, I just thought that was interesting, worth mentioning. So yeah, this says that Gaza said Thursday that the European hospital in Khan Yunis was out of service due to a recent Israeli attack, which targeted the outside of the facility with bunker-busting bombs. So dropping bunker-busting bombs on hospitals. So they claimed it targeted underground Hamas command and control center, but provided no evidence. So yeah, just more of the same, although it seems to be increasing in intensity and amount. So looks like we might be getting the start of this unfortunate event. So, all right, scrolling through, see, hey, say what now up in here. Nevsky saying Lapid was prime minister in 2022 and a centrist. Okay, bug fights up in here. Murder, death, kill. Cool. Good to see a bunch of y'all showing up. All right, let's get into the next one on the Gaza side of things. What's going on there? Where's Trump's head still at? Well, so far as ultimate goal in the end, it seems he still has his head in the clouds on this freedom zone idea. This idea, it seems like he's still stuck on this idea of the United States taking it over, the ruins, which, yay. So President Trump said on Thursday he wants the U.S. to take Gaza and turn it into a freedom zone, signaling he hasn't given up on his idea for a U.S. takeover of the territory. And we did just cover, I believe, yesterday, the day before, that Netanyahu said, and I believe this is the where he was saying he's getting ready to start very, very soon. I believe it was in that he was saying that, oh yeah, we're not going to have Israeli settlers move in, yet, I guess is maybe you could, there's a subtext of yet in there. But I believe he even directly references implying something along the lines of because of the United States or whatever. So it looks like, I mean, that always felt like bullshit. Like it wasn't actually going to be what happens in the end, but I don't know. We could legitimately end up in a weird situation where Israel kicks out all the Palestinians and levels the fuck out of Gaza and then gives us a gigantic ass parking lot for some fucking reason. So, President made comments during a meeting with business leaders in Qatar before heading to the UAE later in the day. I have concepts for Gaza that I think are very good. Make it a freedom zone. Let the United States get involved. Make it just a freedom zone, the president said, which don't know what the fuck that means. If you just say freedom a bunch, does that just make it free? Guess so. I'd be proud to have the United States, have it, take it, make it a freedom zone. Let some good things happen. Put people in homes where they can be safe, and Hamas is going to have to be dealt with. Make it a freedom zone. Let some good things happen. That's our plan for Gaza. Trump called for U.S. takeover. Okay, now it's just going to recap the situation. But no, that's still the narrative that we're taking it over, I guess. And doing what? I don't know. Control Alt Dick says they'll pave paradise, put up a parking lot. Ooh la la la. Yeah. Let Palestinians have freedom. Israel won't like that. Yeah, exactly. That's the main issue there. But on the positive side of things, looks like maybe Russia and Ukraine are moving towards peace talks, or moving towards peace. So hey, that's a positive. We got Russia and Ukraine are set to hold negotiations in Istanbul today actually. So. It'll mark their first direct talks between Russia and Ukraine since 2022. So Vladimir Medinsky, an aide to Putin will lead the Russian side, and Rustem Umerov, Ukrainian defense minister, will head the Ukrainian delegation. So no Zelensky, no Putin is my understanding currently, but we are getting their direct, delegates essentially to I don't know, see where things go. So hopefully it's a positive development. This is, just lower level talks, but we just had, I think we had the ceasefire. I don't know if that was what day that was or if that held. But I haven't heard any murmurs about anything too crazy. So I don't know. Looking up. I'm not too incredibly positive. So we'll see. We'll see where things go. But hey, this is a move in the right direction, and so hey, I'm here for it. I'm here for it entirely. So yeah, let's see if there's anything you guys have to say. All Gaza needs are freedom fries, says Lance Ripa. Yeah. Jim J says all that will happen is when Israel's attacked, it will hit that zone too, and that will force Americans to die for Israel, perhaps. All right, let's get into the next story. And then, as I was said before, on the Iran-U.S. Deal side of things, we got looks like it says we're close to a nuclear deal, but details unclear. This is a Dave DeCamp article again. So looks like positive developments, but it says President Trump said on Thursday that the U.S. and Iran were close to reaching a nuclear deal, though the details of a potential agreement remain unclear. The president said the U.S. wouldn't be making any nuclear dust in Iran, referencing his previous threats that he would bomb Iran if an agreement weren't reached. I think we're getting close to maybe doing a deal without having to do this, he said. Trump told reporters, you probably read today the story about Iran. It's sort of agreed to the terms. The president has specified what story he was referring to, but NBC News published an interview on Wednesday with Ali Shamkhani, an advisor to Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. In the interview, Shamkhani said Iran was ready to commit to never making a nuclear weapon, reduce uranium enrichment levels, get rid of its stockpile of highly enriched uranium, and allow international inspectors to verify the process in exchange for sanctions relief. Now, don't tell MAGA this, but this is basically literally exactly the Obama deal. Okay, don't tell them this, though. Yeah, wow, great deal, guys. Good job. You could do it. Woohoo! Shamkhani's comments reflect that what has been Iran's position all along and mirror the terms of the 2015 nuclear deal known as the JCPOA. Trump posted a link to the interview on his Trump social account, suggesting he may be open to such a deal. Now, I will say I haven't watched this interview, so I don't know if maybe this is referenced or not. But I know we talked about it, I think yesterday, and that there was an additional provision that I guess Iran had floated out. The idea of like a joint, I believe it was Saudi and maybe Qatar, Saudi and some other entity, some sort of joint program of some sort for their nuclear. I don't know if maybe, I'm sure there's outside the box thinking that could be done. I don't know this, like the specifics and their nuclear things. Maybe they could do some of them being in neutral territory to which both nations have access. Saying there's other options, and these options were thrown out, some sort of joint something. So, just something that makes this distinct from the Obama thing is, I think, what really is going to be the real sticker here, because I don't know how Trump is going to allow the narrative to end here with, oh, yeah, basically the Obama deal. Obviously, he would never say that, but I don't know. That's such a glaring, Achilles heel to have that I don't see him not shoring that up in some way. So, but we'll see. Publicly, Trump's administration officials, including Witkoff, have been saying that any deal must eliminate Iran's nuclear enrichment program, which is why I've said before, I think why they're such a stickler on that specific note. It's like a two-pronged thing. For one, between the Israelis and the GOP, I think it's to disrupt any sort of peace possibilities. And then and then on the other side of things, it's also, I think, on the Trump side, it's that they wanted something distinct. Also, I don't think they probably ever really thought they were ever going to get it. It's also the deal shit. You ask for more than what you're going to get. So it's likely this has been the U.S. demand in its negotiations with Iran since the talks have continued to make progress. That's really all. They're just recapping this stuff at this point. But yeah, it looks like things are looking up there, which, as I said, with some of these positive developments in our relations to Israel, it looked like that was as I said before, it looked like that was going to be for this specifically. Like that's the big rub here. That's where it really comes in play. It was with Iran, because at the end of the day, I don't think our administration really particularly cares too much about the Gazans, but yeah, they really do not want to go to war with Iran. And that's kind of been the going theme of the past few decades. So, just start the reactor in Ramadan. Yeah. All right. Let's get to. Let's see. I did want to scroll through a few of these headlines on anti-war, because there were a few that I thought were worth mentioning that I didn't. Israel's using facial recognition to screen Palestinians needing aid. I thought that was interesting because that's creepy. I guess that's one thing they're kicking around in their possible aid ideas. Is that they are going to do some sort of tech shit which I know that just seems creepy if you extrapolate the idea. Although it's one of those things that I guess it kind of makes sense in a certain way because the big holdup with aid here is they're always like, oh, we don't want to supply Hamas. So if they're trying to make sure you don't have Hamas, but obviously then that implies that you have some sort of actually really good facial repository, which I doubt they do, nor would I really want Israel to have a good facial repository of all this stuff. But yeah, then the other one I really want to point out is the Yemeni Houthis still firing missiles at Israel. They keep firing at the Ben Gurion airport. So that's still going on. I haven't heard about any sort of, and I believe there's been a few strikes since we stopped. Just those have seemed to be kind of just flying under the radar. It's almost as if they're trying not to direct any sort of attention to it because I don't know. I don't think it's almost like it's like an unsaid thing that's almost uncouth to point to that we backed off of the Houthis and didn't really give a shit that Israel, that they clearly were going to keep bombing Israel. So yeah. And then also the U.S. to spend $1 trillion on nukes over the next decade, because I thought that was worth at least being aware of that headline. That for those who aren't aware, that is the way that our nuke programs work is they got basically I don't know if it's every year, every few years or what, but they update them regularly all the time. And every one of these nuke things require hordes of people to maintain. They are just a complete and utter boondoggle of money. They are just a racket. This is where I don't know, you look into all that goes into nukes, and this is really, you get to I don't know, maybe the nukes are fake, is maybe there is something to that, because it is just no one uses them, and it's just a complete money game. So they could be completely fake, could be a complete scam that someone came up with, and I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. All right, next story we're going to get into is the whole silly 86ing nonsense. So let's get into that. A second. Now this, I had actually I saw something about this yesterday, and I had heard about this morning a little bit. So this is kind of newer for me, but apparently what I'm gathering, which we'll go through it together, is that I guess James Comey posted some coded message saying 8647 or some shit, which people interpret it as I guess an assassination inference, implying that, and I guess they're under investigation now. So we'll go through that together. It's from the Vigilant Fox, who, frankly, from reading through this, obviously I'm going to make fun of this as we go because this just sounds super gay. It says things are different this time around. You can't threaten Trump's life anymore and expect the intelligence agencies to look the other way. James Comey tried, and Tulsi Gabbard isn't letting it slide. She says he knew exactly what he was doing. Then she made a vow that can mark the beginning of a new era of accountability. All right, we're getting this thread. It shows a picture of Gabbard from Fox News saying Comey posts threat to 86 Trump. This is the beginning of the end for the corrupt elites who tried and failed to take down Trump. Let's break it all down and roll the clips. There's a new sheriff in town, and the days our intelligence agencies sitting on their hands are over. Former FBI Director James Comey posted a not-so-cryptic image with the numbers 8647, When pressed, he claimed he didn't even know what it meant. But DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, isn't buying it. He knew exactly what he was doing. Absolutely not, Jesse. This is a ridiculous, insane statement to make, she said. All right, let's go ahead and watch this. There's a video here, and it sounds like he's basically just, his text here is basically just the body of the video. So instead of reading him saying the video he posted, let's go ahead and listen to this. All right, so I think he posted this on his Instagram, is my understanding. Now, I will say I don't think I'd ever even heard this term before, but so I looked up just for shits and gigs what to 86 something is. Here's an AI overview. Google's doing that now these days. It says to 86 something is a slang term that means to get rid of, remove, or no longer offer something, especially in the hospitality industry. Can also mean to refuse something to someone. The origin of the term is debated, but some theories include military shorthand, TO for throw out, soda counter slang from the 1930s, or its connection to Prohibition-era bars. In the hospitality industry, to 86 something usually means an item is no longer available because the kitchen is out of it or it's been removed from the menu. Can also mean to cut someone off from services. Military shorthand for throwouts. I guess because T was the 8 key and O was the 6 key, so TO, throw out. I guess kind of the old T9 text, I'm assuming. Another theory suggests it was slang term in the 30s. Use it for soda fountains when an item was sold out. Some believe it originated in speakeasies, where patrons might have been told to 86 or leave in a hurry if police were about to raid the establishment. Another theory proposed that 86 referred to the lower proof of alcohol served to intoxicated patrons, with bartenders 86ing those who had too much 100 proof whiskey. Okay. All right. I don't think I've never even heard of 86 being used. I mean, this is Google, but I'm not seeing anywhere where it's even referring to killing or assassination more specifically. I figured maybe there would at least be some sort of like a military use or something, but the military use even was to throw out, like I guess meaning, I don't know, which I guess you could say throw out something, like a person. But these are all like, it would have a dual meaning to mean to kill, but I'm not even seeing it has a distinct meaning to kill, particularly, or at least notable. So I don't know. You guys let me know. Maybe this is something maybe it's an age thing or something. I don't know. If this was some sort of term that was used in espionage or the military, I feel like, obviously, like, espionage just from, like, I guess my covering of this sort of stuff, I feel like it would have come up at some point. Military, I mean, I wasn't a combat guy, but I did over a decade. I feel like it would have come up somewhere. Yeah, not ringing a bell. So this whole 86 thing, I've never even heard it used. So I'm struggling to find. At the very least, this strikes me as something that if you were in a good faith way, you could say this could mean this, but it has dual meanings, and to interpret it that way is just kind of retarded. I mean, don't get me wrong, Comey could have meant that, but it just seems, I don't know, unless there's some sort of major thing I'm missing. But let's go ahead and let's keep going. Let's see what more she has to say. I'm gonna be real. I can't. I'm astounded that there's an investigation. But let's keep going. And it's crazy too because there are examples of situations. I guess none are coming to my mind right now that they could use. Like this is a common trap that would always in years past. It's not as much of a big deal anymore. The last major thing was Floyd. We had Floyd, Trayvon. It's the idea of that, like, hey, we have some sort of issue, the thing we want to go at, and the issue here being, threatening violence to your political opponents. So we need to find something to stand on, to make a cause about. And they always pick the dumbest things. Like with the race stuff, it always was like situations that were super ambiguous and very rarely was like a clear thing. Which, to be fair, I guess that's kind of what builds, usually it being contentious is what builds, what's the word I'm looking for? Builds drama, I guess. But either way, I mean, here we're also dealing with a similar situation where they chose Comey saying 8647 in Instagram posts as what to make their stand on. When I'm sure if they had just been patient or been more observant, they could have found better examples. I mean, maybe they just got excited when they saw someone of note like a Comey and they went after it, but I don't know. This is what you have to go off of. Like, I get that it would make sense that they would want to chomp at the bit the first time they have some sort of something like this. But it to be this, like, come on, you need to have more than this. And I get, like, want to make a political show out of, like, all right, cool, we have some specific situation of some political entity calling for violence for us, and if we can hem them up in a legitimate way, let's do it. But this isn't it. So this just seems, if anything, this kind of, it's like the poison pill for this concept. It's just going to make this look foolish to the left, as well it should. It makes it look foolish to me. And honestly, really, any honest person on the right should look at this and think this is foolish and makes us look foolish. So, unless there's something huge I'm missing about the origin of 86ing. But as I said, like between, being someone who looks into conspiracy stuff and then, doing like a decade in the military, obviously not combat, so maybe that would make a difference. 86ing means nothing to me. So, all right, let's keep going. So is Comey just trying to provoke a reaction or turn himself into a political martyr? Let's see what they have to say now. Whatever his intent, I think the intent is kind of what really matters here, right? I mean, you can't just say someone makes vague threats that I feel like are threats that could very rationally be interpreted as not being threats, and then pursue legal action against someone? I don't know. I mean, yeah, the intent is literally the key issue here. So, all right, let's keep going. I mean, to be fair, I guess when she says to intent there, I guess she was referring to what Jesse Waters was saying about that maybe he wants to be a martyr or something. So to be fair, I guess but the point is I just don't even buy the intent that this means to kill him, which, I mean, I don't know, maybe If anything, it would make more sense that he knows that, hey, that you guys are going to be faggots about this. Because this is really fucking stupid. So, all right, let's keep going. But that's not a direct threat. I mean, I don't know. Once again, I mean, you guys correct me in the chat. I'm going to go through it here in a minute. Maybe there's something about 86ing that I've missed, but it seems to be, you know, that could easily refer to impeach or remove or vote out or what. I mean, obviously you can't vote out now, but that could be referring to impeach him or, you know, or just a generic, you know, call to action for Democrats that kind of oppose him so that we can find a way to get him out or something. So, all right, let's go. Well, okay. I laughed there, but I was laughing because if she's referring to this specifically, that's ridiculous. But yes, Comey should be in jail, but not for this. All right. Well, so then it's my understanding that it sounds like they have an open investigation and the current DNI calling for the arrest of Comey over him posting on his Instagram 8647. Let's go ahead and here's a photo of it right here. You can see it right here. It says cool shell formation on my beach walk. And it's just shells he put to say 8647. Which so let me find something real quick. There's something actually funny enough. Tyler sent me earlier that I wanted to bring up because he found. Oh damn it! Did I just really play clips with no audio this whole fucking time? I'm fucking god damn it! I hate StreamYard so fucking much. I hate it so much. All right, I'm sorry guys. I did it. All right, just consider that a fucking. I just did the whole segment with no audio, didn't I? I just did the whole segment. I knew I should have looked back. I knew I should have looked back and checked in on it, but I just once you're in a tab, I get sucked into the tab and I forget to. It's so annoying. I got to pop back over between tabs and look over at the StreamYard tab to make sure everything's good, and then I go back over the other tab to. I failed you guys. I really failed you. I fucked up. I'm sorry. I mean, okay. Well, at least replay the last one. But Jesus Christ, I completely failed you guys. Fucking A. All right, you know, I'm like half a mind to play all the videos again, but that just seems like that'd be ridiculous. You get the idea. She's being crazy. Bitches be tripping. All right, let's, the only reason I even saw this, it's funny enough, I saw Tyler talking shit in the other chat, because I popped over there because I was like, oh yeah, there's something Tyler shared earlier that I wanted to share. So this is from Jack Poso. That's from, which I don't know. To be fair, I don't know if this guy if Poso is one of the people freaking out about this, but it's just funny him. This is from 2022. Actually, I'm retarded. The first tweet here is actually referring to the current stuff. So it's the former director of the FBI calling for left-wing assassins to target our president and kill him. Have no idea why he hasn't been arrested yet. Leaders of the national security state of the prior, and the next tweet is leaders of the national security state of the prior power structure are openly calling for the assassination of our president, and people will still tell you MAGA are the ones going too far. Then, now we see a tweet from 2022, 3 years prior, 8646. So, yeah, which is literally basically one letter away, or one number away from exactly what's his face posted. Comey posted, which was with the 8647. So yeah, that's a complete ridiculous. Damn it, I'm so fucking embarrassed. I fucked up the videos. God damn it. All right, let's roll through the chat. So yeah, here's Tyler saying this is boomer drama. You need intent for calls to violence. All right, I'm gonna at least play the last one. I want to play the last one that's that at least shows the so I can show the. No, I'm not even gonna do that. Fuck that. Just know the last video. She literally says that she should go to jail. So you're like, what the fuck? God damn it, that's super fucking annoying. I played. There was a lot of videos too. Damn it, dude. All right. Jug Poso did a post. Oh, yeah. See, there you go. Audio. Can't hear it. Everyone's saying audio. Great, guys. Yeah, I got it. Dude. All right. I'll actually retweet the post real quick. That way, at the very least, if you guys do want to check out the videos, if you care that much, you can go check out the videos. I fucked up. I'm sorry. I'll put it in the timestamps for people watching later. It'll say, hey, no audio on clips or whatever. That way. So my bad. All right, yeah. So I'm sure that was very awkward watching that. So, but all right, let's scroll. They have been doing the 86 jargon for a few years. They definitely mean it as a call to violent action. Maybe they do. I mean, I don't. It just seems like it could be. It's used in restaurants. 86 that order. It means take a body 8 miles out and put it 6 feet deep. That's the origin of 86. I did see that somewhere because I was looking earlier today, but I was only like some obscure. I mean, yeah, maybe 8 miles out and 6 feet deep, maybe 86. But then you have, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you see other takes of people. So, Agent 86 is what the doctor says. Thought it to have come from the 30s, means something rhyming nix, meaning to get rid of. Okay, yeah, that would check out. Yep. So it's in the restaurant industry used to out of something or to toss something out. So someone says look up 8645. Let's look up 8645. See if anything comes up. I'm just doing Google, but let's see 8645. I'm assuming is what you just said. Let's check that. Is an anti-Trump message. Here's what it means. Restaurant industry slang. I don't know. This just seems like boomer nonsense. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't people that say 8645 to mean it's an impeach Trump sign I'm seeing here. So, like, this is, I don't know. I can understand saying this is anti-Trump. It's very clearly anti-Trump. But just like, to then jump to that this means a direct call to violence, I don't know. I'm not seeing it. So, all right, scrolling through. Sorry, guys. Once again, sorry about the audio. That's super fucked. But yeah. Yeah, holy shit, Jose might even be more retarded. Guys, you guys think like when I'm here, I don't have like a dual screen setup or anything crazy. I have one laptop in front of me and I'm only able to look at one tab at a time. So I have to bounce around tabs. So I had the Twitter tab open reading through it. And then, but on the problem is the StreamYard tweet on the other one is jacked up. So, all right, this is why I try to check the chat fairly regularly, but sometimes it just feels weird if I'm checking in too regularly. So I don't know. My bad. Sorry, guys. Like I said, it will be on the. I'll put it on the. Why can't I think of it? Timestamps. There you go. So yeah, it is playing in my own headphones, Tyler. It's StreamYard. StreamYard does this thing where like I don't know. I will share a screen. Like right here, I was doing the 8645 thing right here, and I'll be able to play sound from that. So right now, if there was a video clip, I could play it. But then randomly, StreamYard will, like, once I've swapped out a few tabs, usually, it'll just randomly then shut off and no longer play audio from things for no reason whatsoever. It just stops. It's some sort of glitch in the system. So I have to be, like, essentially stay vigilant and keep looking at it. Like, I'm able to look at it and tell if it's got audio going through it. But it will just shut off randomly on its own. So like I have to make sure to check. And sometimes you forget to dot your I's and cross your T's, and you look like a fucking retard. And that's what happened today. So anyone over 40 knows what 86 means. Maybe that's the thing. I'm 30. I'm about to be 34 here next month. So maybe that's it. So yeah. But all right. Someone's even tried to message me on DMs. So yeah, I went a lot longer. According to Jose, the interview evokes laughter. Yeah, it is kind of ridiculous seeing, I don't know, the DNI mauling over some letter. I mean, I don't know. Once again, like I'm open to missing something, but I'm even just talking to you guys. Doesn't seem like there's a couple of you that are like seem to be almost have this jeering, like, oh look how wrong you are in the chat. But I mean. Okay, well, I think that the vast majority of people being like, I don't know, I heard it used this way, I've heard it used that way, we've used it this way, you've used it that way, and there being like a couple people being like, oh, it's clearly killing. I think that right there kind of proves that, well, it's clearly up for debate. So, like, I mean, I'm not saying he didn't mean that. Like, I don't know. But, Yeah. So see, Tyler will have to find the clips and play them tonight. There you go. That's what it is. Tyler will play them tonight. Exactly. There you go. You guys can go find Tyler. I retweeted it, make it even easier. Tyler can replay these. So now it gives you a reason to go watch Tyler's show. So you can see him make fun of the pretty Hawaiian lady instead. So yeah. So but yeah, going there. I see you guys now. I'm in the chat where you guys caught where I fucked up. Or I caught where I fucked up. So what broadcasting school did Jose go to? The U.S. Air Force, that's where. They didn't teach me a goddamn thing. So, all right, scrolling through. I'm sorry, guys. That was fucked up. Yeah. All right, scrolling through. I think we're almost to the end of this chat. All right. See ya, Robin. Robin's leaving. Going to get her nails did. Sorry to screech, Jose. I felt ignored. It's okay. It's okay. How do I get you a dual monitor set up? Okay, we'll go to patreon.com/nowayjose, and you can do a one-time donation for the amount for a monitor. So, or you could just I don't know if you can do a one-time donation, but you at least donate once, and then just after that, then just cut off your thing. So there you go. That's how you do it. I will. If you donate like a couple $100 or whatever, and say this is specifically for a monitor, I will do that. So I will honor the money, and I will use it for that, assuming it's more than the cost of whatever the thing is, obviously. So, and Tyler's saying I get how StreamYard works. I know you get it. Other people don't. I look retarded to them. I don't get. So I don't know. The problem is Tyler makes us look good on Tower Gang, and then you guys forget how fucking hard it is to run all that shit by yourself. But yeah, it definitely would be easier if I had a dual monitor, because then I could at least keep the StreamYard chat up, and so keep an eye on it better. So, but it is what it is. So, however, this is like saying the Luigi meta references are not about what that guy. I don't know what you're referring to. I'm assuming maybe the Luigi meta. I don't even know what you're talking about with Luigi meta references. Oh, I'm assuming you mean when people reference Luigi in reference to because like I did on Tower Gang a while ago. I forget what the example was. It was just kind of like, maybe that person should get Luigi'd. So context is in the meme. Although the meme here was I should take that down. I don't know why I have that still up. But the meme here was Comey, I found this on the seashore or whatever. Look at these seashell formation I found. So I don't really know how that meme specifically says, I clearly want to murder Trump. I don't get that from that. I mean, it's just, I don't know, it seems stupid to me. So, but yeah, so let's keep going. Oops, I think I accidentally clicked through the end of it. 86 to me has always been a threat or just get rid of, not kill. Bro, Trump is the 45th and 47th president. 86, the 45, 47. I'm aware. I'm not denying that 86. I don't think anyone's denying that 8645 and 8647 are clearly references to Donald Trump. But as we went through, it can mean multiple things. It literally was the second thing that came up. One of the key words that came up was impeach Trump when I looked those up. That's what I have up right here. That tab I just took down, 8645. Literally says anti-Trump impeach oval Euro vinyl bumper sticker. Literally fourth, the third word is impeach. They're referring to impeach. This does not necessitate murder. So that's where the ridiculous nature of this comes from, is that people jump to murder. And there's nothing about what Comey did that really makes me say, this 100% means kill him, aside from if somebody's just saying because it's Comey. But I could easily just as much assume he means impeach Trump. Yeah, this guy says I assume he means impeach Trump. That's what I would think, I guess. If anything, it's probably I would say he was too obscure. He should have. But someone did say it was posted 8,647 days since 9/11, which, okay, maybe there's something to that. I don't know. I'm not against that idea. So I can send you a monitor for free. Oh, don't just go send me your junk, fucking your computer equipment. All right. So, okay. All right, guys. Once again, I'm sorry for the fuck up. That was very embarrassing. All right, let's keep it. This is why I don't try to play too many videos. The videos are nice because I get to be lazy and get to be the sub teacher and not really do anything. Maybe just jump in every minute or two and provide some sort of commentary. But yeah, this is why we're going to keep it to text from now on. Stay away from the videos or be super, super careful. But here we go. Here's from Ken Silva. Let me make sure this is actually even up at all, because now I don't trust anything. I fucked that up. Damn it. Of course. See, I'm boomer and everything up today. All right, here we go. Our alleged would-be Trump assassin once ran a full-fledged criminal enterprise, record shows from the homie Ken Silva. So years before he allegedly went on a mission to assassinate President Trump, Ryan Routh ran a criminal enterprise involving the theft of thousands of dollars worth of property from construction sites in the Greensboro, North Carolina area, according to previously unpublicized records reviewed by Headline USA. The previously unpublicized records come from Greensboro Police Department's 2010 investigation to Routh, which led to him being convicted for possessing stolen goods. Those convictions have been widely reported, but most of the details about the case haven't until now. All right, second. Sorry, clicked on something. According to the records, a confidential informant told police that Routh would steal tools and building materials from the sites where he and his company, United Roofing, were hired to do work. Routh allegedly kept these stolen goods in 3 50-foot trailers as well as a warehouse in the Greensboro area, the records state. So he's stealing tools and building materials from work sites. Okay, 'cause it sounds just kind of like a fucking high-level crackhead. So a confidential informant told the police he's keeping these goods in 50-foot trailers as well as a warehouse. Okay. Greensboro police were tipped off about Routh, who was already on probation for a felony explosives conviction in 2002, which I forgot all about that. Now as I'm saying that, I'm like, whoa. And then I remember, oh, yeah, that's right. They did report. That was I believe this is like the weapons of destruction or whatever one everyone kept going around like, oh, my God, what the fuck does this mean? And it was just some sort of like explosives charge. It was just weirdly, whatever state this happened in or whatever, it was weirdly phrased or whatever. So it sounded way more like, I don't know, way more interesting than it was. All right. Police also received information from someone arrested in the scheme whose identity was kept confidential. According to the informant, a man named Marty had recently broken into a home under construction. Marty allegedly stole a washer and dryer from there, sold those items to Routh, and then used the proceeds to buy crack cocaine. Checks out. Police arrested Marty, who was later identified as Marshall Hinshaw, and then received another tip from their informant that Routh was moving the stolen merchandise to a new location because he was worried he would be caught. The informant further told police that Routh was driving a stolen black/broken dually pickup truck. On January 27, 2010, police executed a search warrant in one of Routh's trailers, seizing items such as new marble white sinks. Oh, shit. That belonged to another company called H. Brown Incorporated, according to police records. Day after that search, the informant said Routh began hurriedly moving other stolen property that was located in his 2 remaining trailers. Man, yeah, okay. I will say, I mean, he had 3 giant trailers in another location. At first, it did sound like some crackhead shit, but now it sounds like, the marble white sinks. I mean, depending on the size of these companies, I mean, these could be quite expensive stuff. This could add up real quick. So, police searched another one of the trailers on February 4th, 2010, finding more stolen items, including more than 1,500 of welding torches owned by the company Hammaker East. Okay, that's not that much. The owner of the land where Routh's trailer was sitting also told police that he asked someone to move the trailer and that a male had pulled a knife on him and told him to leave the property. After searching the first 2 trailers, police made contact with Routh and asked him to search the 3rd trailer, which was on land that he owned. Routh denied officers' request to search, and so they obtained another search warrant on February 4th, 2010, finding yet more stolen goods. All right. Additionally, the search warrant indicated that accomplices may have been involved in Routh's scheme. A man named Cornelius Chisholm was initially listed as a co-defendant of Routh's, but the charges against him were later dropped. Headline USA was unable to find many additional records or details about Chisholm, other than the fact that he too has a lengthy criminal record. Routh was arrested and convicted of 3 felony counts of possessing stolen goods in July 2010. However, similar to this 2002 weapons conviction, he was given a suspended sentence of 2 days in jail plus time served. It's for 3 felony counts of stolen goods. So he only got 2 days plus time served. Okay. He was also initially charged upon arrest with possessing a stolen vehicle, but that charge was dropped. Moreover, he was initially charged with violating the terms of his probation from the 2002 conviction, but that charge was later dropped, with records only saying there was filed an error. Routh went on to commit crimes for over the next decade, including in the days leading up to his alleged attempt on Trump's life when he was communicating with a human smuggler and attempting to buy a rocket launcher. I think you're kind of seeing a theme with this guy's life and the kind of wild schemes this guy was doing. Just a wild boy out there, I guess, right? It kind of reminds me a lot of characters like Roger Moore, where they would get caught selling things like C4 to the ATF and shit like that. So that's kind of what this reminds me of, but I digress. The man who allegedly sold Routh a stolen washer and dryer, Marshall Hinshaw, also continued a life of crime. According to the North Carolina Department of Corrections website, he's serving an 8-year jail sentence for a 2021 felony breaking and entering conviction. LinkedIn page that matches Hinshaw's profile states that he worked for the U.S. Army from 92 to 2014, so that's a 12-year period, working in fire support and air defense. His bio states that he's skilled in the U.S. Department of Defense, military operations, air command, and military. That doesn't make any sense. How are you skilled in U.S. Department of Defense military? I'm skilled in the Department of Defense. Okay, well, he needs to clean up his fucking LinkedIn. That's retarded. Headline USA wrote a letter to Hinshaw seeking details about his dealings with Routh, but he's yet to respond. So, yep, looks like he was doing some other criminal activity. This dude was doing wild shit all over the place. No idea what's going on there. I did want to share this. This is from Ken, just a little aside from his coverage on this. Thought it was worth mentioning. He says, perhaps the spookiest record I reviewed for the story is the dismissal of Routh's charge for violating his probation from the 2002 explosives charge, which, keep in mind, I made that, or not keep in mind, I don't know. I guess it was a little bit of I intentionally chose the Roger Moore example with him selling, in Operation Punch-Out to selling explosives or C4 to the ATF. I intentionally evoked that one here because, then we have Routh with a 2002 explosives charge. Now here, listen to this. He was convicted in July 2010, which triggered the probation violation charge. But then the prosecution came back a few months later and said the charge was filed in error. So I don't see how it could have been filed in error. It seems more likely that some with juice made it go away, a la Charles Manson. So now we have a guy that had an explosives charge. Then he gets convicted in 2010, which would trigger a violation for the probation. Then it comes back and goes, oh, just kidding, that was filed in error. Keep in mind, this is over explosives charge. This guy's also he's tried to smuggle fucking Mexicans across the border. He's tried to buy fucking, rocket launchers. He's also doing these weird schemes where it looks like he's obtaining very expensive equipment from construction companies and, ferreting them away for use for some sort of income for something. So, I don't know. This guy's leading an interesting life, to say the least. Say the absolute least of this guy. All right, let's roll through the chat, and then let's just see what all you guys have to say. So, 47, the Hitman. I don't know what that is. I think Comey is just another homo in a sea of fags. 100%, yeah. Selling a seashell sells her sea holes by the sea whore. Someone says. Scrolling through chats. Roofers are the N-words of the trades. Yeah, 100%. Roofing is awful. Yeah, it's funny. Assumed it's an old junk monitor. I figured you upgraded a gaming monitor. Oh, that's a fair point. Although I'm not a nerd, so that's not where my head would go to. If someone's trying to give me a monitor, I'm assuming it's like some old monitor they don't want anymore. So, all right, scrolling through chats. If Jose would just apply for VA disability from his service, he could afford his own equipment and use that extra funds for his kids or causes he cares about. Yeah, you're right. I should probably apply for VA disability. But I don't know. It feels like such a fucking, I don't know, a welfare whore thing to do. I've been a welfare whore for over a decade of the military. It just feels gross to stretch it out more. So, but you're not wrong. This guy says Jose was right. I'm trying to clean up my garage. Yeah, see, see, I was right. All right, not a nerd. Yep. All right. Let's finish off today. Let's finish the thread we were covering yesterday on the Gacy, Dean Coral, all these different connections. Essentially, the the serial killers of old that were, in fact, child procurers, that we were sold as serial killers. I gotta say, Gacy's face looks like a tomato. But let's go ahead and back up where we left off. It says, okay, we're back. So to summarize, I'm retarded. Here you go. This is why I gotta pop back over here occasionally. So to summarize, John Wayne Gacy and Dean Corll were notorious homosexual child murderers from the same era, but two vastly different locations. Both were considered organized and social, although a bit creepily awkward in private relationships. Coincidentally, they were both connected through their accomplice/friend, Philip Pask, which here he is. Holy shit, it's Milo Yiannopoulos. But yeah, here's Philip Pask, who is the kind of the younger guy who seemed to be the helper friend of Gacy and Dean Corll, and he has other weird connections too. While Dean was in Houston and Gacy was in Chicago, Pask also worked for Norman, who operated both Houston and Chicago around the same time. While Gacy would be brought to justice and Dean killed by another accomplice, both were allegedly connected to a greater network of child trafficking and prostitution. John Norman was running a wide-reaching child trafficking and prostitution network. Norman was working with Frank Sheldon, who we talked about him yesterday. He's a guy tied to North Fox Island. He was a guy who owned that place, basically. But he was working with Frank Sheldon and other notorious pedophiles with connections and the ability to create tax havens using phony nonprofits, with which both owned the homosexual newsletters Norman used for marketing their victims, but were also used to groom young boys. Through all of this, the man known as Philip Pask would serve only a few years here and there for various crimes, none of which were related to his involvement in the sex trafficking of children or his involvement with either Gacy or Dean. It has been theorized that Ghislaine Maxwell was not Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice. Instead, she was the boss the entire time, explaining her light sentence and his suspicious death. I suspect that Philip Pask held the same role in this network that Maxwell did for Epstein. All right, interesting proposal. I don't know if I'd agree with it, but let's go on. Epstein can be the face of the phony business, while Maxwell handles the dirty work behind the scenes. Just as many of the facilitators of the network, including Gacy and Dean, were seemingly likable businessmen and pillars of the community. You guys hear that? That's Jeff again. Jeff's being an asshole again. I don't know why. He just feels the need to holler at us. Jeff's being a dick. Let me yell at Jeff real quick. All right, I don't think it worked, but hey, it made me feel better. All right, Epstein can be the face of phony business, while Maxwell handles the dirty work behind the scenes. Just as many of the facilitators of the network, including Gacy and Dean, were seemingly likable businessmen. Oh, I already read that. I'm retarded. Gacy even stated he never wanted to kill anyone at first. He was merely a pedophile. The killing was unintended at first, but he liked it. I suspect it was really easy to jump to killing when you know you're already working with someone who is a killer, especially when Gacy knew many of the young boys he molested were going to be handed over to Philip Pask for trafficking and often murder in the manufacturing of snuff films. Okay, well, maybe all right, he's buying me back in here because he is connected to multiple. So it would make sense for him to being the go-between, and this then brings up notes of Dutroux, because for those who have listened to my coverage of Dutroux, he did. It seemed like how do I put this? It seemed like he wasn't happy about these kids going off to the snuff network sometimes, and he had an interesting relationship with these kids. It was kind of fucked up. All right. All right. Crossing that line was easier for Gacy, knowing that everything was at stake, and Philip would help. Both Dean Corll and Gacy disposed of or hid their victims' bodies in similar ways, which was probably suggested to them by Philip Pask, who was an experienced murderer, although a poor body disposal expert. This leads us to the next point about modern sex trafficking networks. They're not relying on too many dumb street filth anymore. Philip Pask was a low IQ criminal who, at best, knew how to manipulate other pedophiles using violent coercion. Which, on the point of disposing the bodies, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure they were literally just storing bodies in essentially crawl spaces under Gacy's house, which is I don't know, pretty obviously a really stupid way to dispose of bodies. So that's what they're getting at for those who want to know. These days, the powers that be want good-looking, educated people with their own connections and networks and industries that can peddle information and influence, like Hollywood, DC, etc. They don't need any homosexual newsletters or phony boarding schools. They have cartels, coyotes, an unsecured border full of vulnerable families with kids. Just like you may have seen in the film Taken, the victims filter upwards through the network based on value. And they shared a post here saying Biden-Harris administration loses track of 320,000 migrant children with untold numbers at risk of sex trafficking and forced labor. Yes, it was a movie, but it definitely got that part right. The networks in existence are now well organized and connected to powers capable of stopping investigations and prosecutions at will and making up excuses for it. Just like when John Norman's 30,000 pink index cards were taken into evidence and then sent to the State Department. But Norman was caught months later with 100,000 pink index cards. Those weren't destroyed by the State Department. They were returned to Philip Pask, who returned them to Norm. Also, the State Department was involved in destroying evidence related to another child sex abuse network in the 80s related to the Finders, a Washington, D.C. area satanic cult which was allegedly connected to the Presidio sex abuse scandal. Destruction of this evidence resulted in all charges being dropped against the two suspects who were caught red-handed with multiple abused children in their custody, even after those men were willing to confess and testify to the larger element if granted leniency. The Washington Post even printed a retraction to their story about the men linked to the cult and the allegations against them. We'll have to cover the Presidio scandal another time. Want to know a strange coincidence that kind of seals the deal on my claim that these networks are never taken down entirely and merely go limping on to adapt and evolve over time? During his time in prison, John Wayne Gacy would receive plenty of hate mail and fan mail alike. One of his pen pals was Brian Peck, the notorious pedophile producer who worked at Nickelodeon on children's programming and sexually abused multiple child actors. Also, John Norman owned rental properties in Dallas, Texas. One of his renters was mob-connected nightclub owner Jack Ruby. Yeah, the Jack Ruby murdered Lee Harvey Oswald. Ask yourself, what kind of blackmail would it take to convince a mobster to kill Oswald? And then he shared to kind of drive that point further home. Here's an excerpt from a previous article. It says, stars, including James Marsden and Alan Thicke, wrote letters of support for the acting coach charged with sexually abusing a 15-year-old Drake Bell, according to new documentary. Kind of leaving the point open of exactly what he means. So this is a good thread from Kit Knudsen Jr. I'm gonna give him a follow. I will warn you, Kit Knudsen, I will not be. If you do not follow back, I will unfollow. But it was a solid thread. I will give it a retweet so you guys can check it out. I think someone, one of you guys, tagged me in a few other of this person's retweets. So maybe this person's or threads. I mean, I don't know if I said a retweet like an idiot. I guess I'd already retweeted. I'll retweet it again. But yeah, I'll maybe have to cover some more of this guy's threads going forward. Good stuff. Let's roll through the chat, see what you guys are saying. And then I think we're gonna cut it early today. Tired. And I think I should have more juice in the system next week when we pick it back up. Kitties will be a little bit older. I won't be having to wake up in the middle of the night to feed them. I'll be in a better spot. I'll finally overcome the struggle of StreamYard. Just not my week with that shit. I swear there was something else this week that I fucked up pretty hardcore, but oh well, my bad. Let's keep going. Oh, not a nerd has a room full of comic book BS. Okay, well, different types of nerds. I am I guess a different type of nerd. I'm not a tech nerd. So let's keep going. You were retarded, so you can definitely get a check. Referring to VA. Yeah, it feels so icky to be a VA commie. Yeah, I know. It feels gross. So, so man, so many people I've chatted with there are also here. I don't know what you're referring to. Maybe something else from RLC. So from some other show, he says, "I didn't know there was such a Venn diagram of racist comedy fans and conspiracy fans." Hell yeah, dude. I mean, that's kind of my whole thing. All right, you guys are talking about some other show in the chats. All right. I think we're good. We both need haircuts. I'm not getting a haircut, JMS. Not happening. I'm filling the role that Ian Carroll left vacant. The role of the long-haired Sage Sampson. That's what I'm going to fill. It had a tall Chad. Get ready for the manlet to take over. So Tommy says, get that welfare, Jose. Who cares? Let the state pay you to expose their bullshit. You're not wrong. Although I'm not going to lie, it's always flashed in my head the idea of getting the VA. It's always reminded me that I always want to say Dave Matthews, but I think John Matthews, the PatCon guy, that's what the more recent the gag order, what the gag order is about. So is that they essentially threatened his VA benefits. That if I don't know. I guess I've always been like, not that I ever think I would ever be in a situation like John Matthews, like getting ready to expose all of PatCon. I don't think I'll ever be in that situation, but something about the idea that there's some entity that could go, no, we're going to use this as a leverage to control you. I don't know. Maybe I'm hesitant about it because I just kind of like, my over a decade of time in the military kind of made me learn to kind of somewhat resent that paycheck, because then it's like, if anything, it's like what's being held over your head, and you're like, fuck. It's like what's kind of binding you in a certain sense. So I don't know. I'm rambling now, but yeah, I don't want to get on that VA welfare, but I probably should. Yeah, so exactly. They don't rely on state funds; they can rip it away at any time. Exactly. That's kind of like I just don't want to. So I'm just worried about that being that. Well, let's be real. It's never going to happen. I could probably get that welfare money. They'll probably never take it away from me. I'll have it till the day I die. But it feels gross. And, yeah. So, on the hair thing, someone saying the Lord Farquaad hair length is always an awkward stage. It is. It's at an awkward length. It is what it is. I can't really do anything about it. I mean, at a certain point, it'll get longer and it'll look cool. Right now, I just look like fucking the dude from No Country for Old Men. So, it is what it is. And it's an odd look. Some women like it. Some don't. So whatever. Luckily, I'm married, so it doesn't fucking matter. But with that, guys, let's go ahead and get out of here. A little bit shorter today. I'll try to get back to the longer episodes next week. Sorry again for the fuck up. That will not. I'll be better. I'll do better. I'm sorry. It is what it is. But for those who want to support the show, and if you don't want to chip in a buck, like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. Follow me on Twitter at TowerGangJose. Any one of those actions are all small, helpful, free actions you can do to help boost my shit. But if you do want to directly help the show, money, that's the best way to do it. I mean, kind of a no-brainer. Patreon.com/NoWayJose2020, that's the place to do it. The lowest level is $2. That's when you get access to early episodes. Usually we're doing about 2 a week, 4 altogether typically at a time these days. So you got 4 episodes behind the paywall at any time. You got weeks of paywall content. So pretty good shit. I do want to apologize to patrons that we didn't do the Dutroux episode last night. I think we're going to try to do it tonight. Austin wasn't feeling so great. You also get the ad-free RSS feed there, and you also get priority for the call-ins on me and Austin's weekly call-in show, Already Dead, which is on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And the highest level of my sponsors, I read them off every episode. Is a big thank you to them. I'm my co-host and Tower Gang at Tower Gang Toad. Also have at Brigade D's at COVRECK at _Fitzdeal. Tim Tuttle at John Cleeble. Will Bell's Delicious Blueberry Rabbit Eye Wine. The big fan of the show, Torn May, and at INWARD Lover. With that, guys, we're going to get out of here. I love you all. I appreciate you guys showing up. Sorry I did the big dumb today. It is what it is. I am the big dumb. But yeah, let's see if there's anything in there that anything worthwhile in the chat to pop in at the end there. Nothing too much. Y'all just making fun of my hair some more. But with that, let's get out of here. Dump some cash on this chump. Give me some money, people. Money, 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 money. I like it. And yeah, it'll make it so you see me more if I get more of that. Because yeah, then I won't have to go be work and won't be tired, and I'll be able to do better work for you guys. But with that, guys, share it around. Even if you don't want to give me money, I mean, even just sharing it around, you can passively help the show grow. So, but let's get out of here. Deuces. Bye-bye.